Brain fuel, LOL. That's right, here we are. The man with his brain fuel. Yeah. I needed it this morning. It's a long poker night for me last night. Almost did well. It was one of those days where you could win like $1 million. Instead, you win like 30K, and you're like, ugh. It never feels so bad to win decent money. Let's turn the light on. Never feels so bad to win good money when you could have won, whatever it is, 30 times as much, 300 times as much. I can't even count that high. Hope you're all having a great day. YouTube comments love it when I say I can't count that high or I can't do simple math. There was a funny one the other day where I knew the answer, obviously, because it was a silly one, like, what's 1,600 divided by 2? And I made a joke, I can't do that right on the fly. Obviously, it's 320, right? Haha. So every time someone in the comments said, this guy can't even divide by 2, it's like, jokes are lost on the internet, it seems. Jokes are completely lost. You have to have some level of intelligence to get jokes, especially deadpan humor, especially humor that is said as if it is, I don't know, what's the right word? Nonchalant. Very clearly, this is how it goes. Anyway, maybe we're either way on the next level or we're like way in the basement. I'll let you all decide. Nate Daltrey, 9 months on Twitch. Thanks for subscribing on Twitch. All right, we're going to have an Ask Me Anything today. It's been a while. All of you sharks keep asking for an Ask Me Anything, so let's do it. First things first, what is a good ROI for poker tournaments? Depends on what poker tournament we're talking about, right? If you look at a lot of the biggest winners in the game, when they play these $10,000 buy-in tournaments online, they hope to have 10% ROI, 20% ROI. Almost nothing. Almost nothing. And that's because the games are very tough. Whenever you play against a bunch of good people, inevitably no one has much of an edge. And you can kind of think about this logically, right? Let's say there's one bad player per table, and that player loses at 50% ROI, negative 50% ROI, right? So let's say you buy in for 10,000, and that player is going to lose 5,000 on average. Okay? That means that 5,000 is divided by the other 8 people at the table, right? 5,000, I'm going to get out a calculator to make sure I can do this. 5,000 divided by 8 equals $625. So if there's one player who minus 50% ROI at every table, the all other good players, assuming they're equally skilled, are going to win a whopping $625, minus the rake of $300, $400, $500, somewhere in there. So they're making no money, right? However, in the smaller stakes games, where you're not playing against the best players in the world, there may be 7 people at the table that have minus 50% ROI. Obviously, there would be some players who are extremely skilled in these games and some players who are less skilled in these games, but this question of what is a good ROI is like really missing a lot of the very important details, okay? Small stakes games, though, hopefully you can get 50%, 100%, depending on the field size. Typically, as the field size increases, if you're way more skilled than your opponents, you have more time to play with the less skilled players, and that will result in you having a higher ROI than, let's say, a turbo tournament, right? And a turbo sit and go with 9 people, you just can't have a big ROI. For example, I used to play only 9-person sit and goes. When I was 18 to 21 years old, I played many thousands of these, and I had a huge 5 to 10% ROI, which may not sound like a lot, but if you play a lot of games, you can print money, right? That said, in multi-table terms, you'd hope to have a higher ROI, and you'll find that in games with guarantees, games that satellite in a lot of players, etc., typically that will result in you having a higher ROI than games that do not. You've been crushing 1, 2, and 2, 5 no limit at your casino since reading my small stakes books. Good job, AJ. Congrats. Where's the next sale for Poker Coaching Premium? Ooh, we're having one. Are we having one right now? Go to pokercoaching.com/cash masterclass. I know we're giving away the Cash Game Masterclass for free for 3 days. I think today may be the last day. So JL can't spell and can't divide. That's correct. I cannot spell or divide. Did I misspell something on my screen? Wouldn't doubt it. Your humor is underappreciated. Unappreciated. That's why you got banned from ACR. Well, if you get banned from a site for telling jokes, yeah, maybe that's the world we live in today. Such is life. Could you touch on playing the big stack? Every time you try to use it as a club, you whack yourself in the forehead. Well, you're probably playing too aggressively. How do you adjust your opening ranges? It depends, right? Yesterday in the tournament, I had a big stack. It was a solid 4-figure buy-in game. We were deep in the tournament. I had 60 big blinds. Everybody else had 20 or 30. But I couldn't do a whole lot with it. I could open a little bit wider. But if a short stack with 15 big blinds raises, I'm not going to be 3-betting all that often because they're just not going to fold, or they're going to be getting really good odds to continue with whatever. Also, if they expect you to play back at them and they still raise, you can't get all that out of line. You're just not allowed, right? And that's going to result in you having to be somewhat cautious sometimes. There are going to be other times where you can be maniacally aggressive. I was actually reviewing a hand history for a new student the other day, and he wanted to go through hands from the final table that he played. So fine, we went through these hands, but he wanted to just look at the hands that he played. Okay, Sharks. Thank you for bearing with me. I forgot that I was uploading a video. I'm such a fish. I don't know how to work the internet. That's my fault. Operator error. Sometimes it's your fault. It's important to realize every once in a while you are going to screw up, and when you screw up, you should accept full responsibility for your mistake and move forward productively. I made a video, and I was uploading a big video, and it turns out uploading a big video took away all of my internet prowess. I apologize for that. Thank you for helping me. Anytime there are any issues, it could be my fault. How do you personally handle being knocked out just short of the money or take a bad beat? Yesterday, I got to play a pot worth about $300,000 in equity. And I lost. I had the nut flush draw and a pair. My opponent had an open-ended straight draw. I was in very good shape. And how did I handle it? I got up, told my wife I'm going to sleep, and I went to bed. How long have you been playing poker before you became profitable? Not long. I was fortunate to start playing poker a long time ago when the game was very soft. And I read 3 or 4 books on Limit Hold'em, which was the main game back in the day. And that was all it took to some extent. Today, though, if you want to succeed, you're going to have to be substantially better than your opponents. And you need to make sure you're starting tiny, right? Kevin says, $300 profit. Good job, good work. Where can you buy Brain Fuel in Australia? Probably from brainfuel.com if they have it. But if they do not, I don't know. Sorry, you got to be patient. It's a new company. Where was this question? I had a question that I answered. Oh, yeah. So Mark sent in a question. It was essentially, if you answer is essentially not really, how do you widen your range a little bit if you feel like it? Basically take every hand that's on the cusp of the GTO preflop charts. You should have your poker coaching app. They're in the poker coaching app. Just take the hands that are on the cusp of playability and perhaps raise them from late position if you feel inclined. Don't be insane and raise like, Queen 4 offsuit from the cutoff seat. You don't need to do that. But if they give you like King 2 suited, then sure. But we have PLO training. No, probably not. I recommend you check out Jay Nandez. He has a lot of good content there. If you have any questions about what's included with poker coaching memberships, go to pokercoaching.com. Send us an email, support@pokercoaching.com. We will answer you. The Rajneet Express, hello. Love from India. Good luck with everything there. Make sure you're staying safe to the best of your ability. For a beginning player, what is a good structure/study plan? Yanni, go to pokercoaching.com/fundamentals. Okay? pokercoaching.com/fundamentals. There's a free course there. You've been rounding GTO, but if a play says 95% and you change that to 100%, could good players spot when you don't do that? Basically, no. So you're saying that if you have a spot where it's very low frequency and you're trying to play perfect GTO, is it that big of a deal? It's not that big of a deal. If you're trying to be 100% perfect, it's a big deal. But no one's 100% perfect, so I would tell you to not worry about that. Any live streams from Bert Stevens or James Romero next month? Well, I know this month they were busy with Scoop, etc. But I don't know. They seem to make their content on a pretty regular basis. Button versus cutoff. You open King Queen, 2 callers. How much? You raised to $3. That's kind of a big raise. Whatever. Flop comes Ace, 9, 8. Big blind checks. Cutoff leads for pot. You call. Oh wait, what do you have here? You have nothing? You have king of clubs, queen of spades. You should fold on the flop. You don't have anything. Also, I'm kind of confused about this spot. Maybe cut off limp. Make sure you try to take the notes clearly. Check out jlpoker.com/notes. Ace 9-8. If you have king queen and your opponent leads for pot 3 ways, just fold. Turns an 8. Opponent jams. You call. What is a jam? I don't know. But yeah, Stu, this month was particularly busy. I know Poker Stars, Party Poker, and GG all had very big tournament series. And, well, that's that. Is Pocket King's a good hand? Yes. Do you think that poker was the right career for you? What other jobs have I had? It was definitely the right career for Jonathan Little personally. Other jobs I had were all not great jobs. I worked at an airport fueling up airplanes. I worked at a comic book store, and I worked at McDonald's. I'd much rather be a poker player than any of those. That said, I liked working at the airport a lot. That was a good, solid, like relatively low-stress job that was fun and gave me lots of free time that I used to study poker. Do you have a discount implied odds? Sure. When do you shy away from set mining? I don't do a whole lot of shying away from set mining. To be fair, I'm often not set mining. Who's the best coach on Poker Coaching Premium to find leaks with Poker Tracker? Look, if you don't mind spending money, James Romero is the man when it comes to all of that stuff. Alex Fitzgerald, I think, charges a little bit less than James. I have James look at my content. James Romero is great. I think he plays great, and he's helped me find spots where I could do better. Why do you win at one stake but not a slightly smaller stake? Probably variance. Do you still enjoy playing online? Yes, but I don't play online all the time. I play online on exactly Sundays. I have a wife and 2 kids and many, many thousands of poker students, and that takes up my weekdays. So I really only play Sunday afternoon whenever I do play. So something I wanted to show all of you today. A lot of you keep asking about variance. I got this pulled up here. Let's see if this will work. All right, here, good. We have the Poker Dope Tournament Variance Calculator here. Sorry, buying action from someone. Okay. It's a $25,000 tournament today at Hard Rock. I am not there, but it's kind of like I'm there. Nate here in the chat. Hello. Thanks for being a subscriber. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the help. All right, what I want to do is I wanted to enter a tournament like the tournament that's taking place at Hard Rock right now. A lot of people think they're making good decisions playing these giant field tournaments, but in reality, they are making it very difficult for themselves to win long term. So what I want to do is I want to show here, let's say we're playing a 5,000 person tournament, number of places paid, let's say 700. Let's say the buy-in is 3,500, which is what it was. Let's say rake is 10%, $300, is that what it is? Let's say we're going to have a good return on investment, 50%, okay? How many of these we're going to play? Let's say we're going to play 100 of these in our life because, we're gambling a little bit. Scroll down here, click calculate. Actually, bankroll size, sorry. We need to make our bank. What are we going to call our bankroll? Let's say our bankroll is $100,000, okay? We have $100,000 in our bankroll because we are good professional poker players with $100,000. First things first, take a look at this. Take a look at this break-even line, okay? This is a random 20 sample run, okay? Over 20 samples, you'll see one time we crush it and win all the money. Another time we do pretty well, another time we do pretty well, but a lot of the other times we're down, right? A lot of the time, we're going to be down in this scenario. Go down here. If you want to have a 50% risk of ruin, 50%, you're going to go broke half the time. You need $100,000. In order to go broke only 1% of the time, or 5% of the time, you need a substantially bigger bankroll, right? A lot of people do not fully realize this. They just hop in there and then gamble hard, and they think that this is a good, financially sound strategy. Now, a lot of people justify taking shots in these big tournaments, but realize if you normally play, let's say, $200 buy-in tournaments, and then you play a sporadic $3,500 tournament or $1,500 tournament or whatever, let's say 5 times per year, what's going to happen is that is going to more than account for the vast majority of your total amount of money invested, right? And that's going to lead to very, very big swings. Now, again, this is if you have a 50% ROI, if you're a good poker player. What if you only have a 10% ROI? What if we're closer to a break-even-ish poker player? Because, you normally play $300 tournaments, but you're playing this $3,500, right? Now, to have a 5% risk of ruin, you need 250K. And this is still 5%. Personally, Jonathan Little does not want to go broke 5% of the time. I'd like to go broke like none. None of the time. Right? And this is a spot where a lot of people play hard. Right? Or they gamble hard and they don't fully recognize it. So please, please, please make sure you know what you are signing up for. And whenever you're playing these giant field events, you're going to experience a lot of variance. And if we go down here, like take a look at this, right? Again, 20 samples were randomly run here. One big winner, two pretty big winners, medium winner, and then 16 losers over 100 games. 100, you know? 100 games may not sound like a lot. To be fair, it's not a lot. But if you think about the amount of volume people put in live poker playing their shot-taking games, like random WPTs that have many thousands of people, you may only play 100 of those in your life. Like if I ask myself, how many 25Ks and higher am I going to play in my life? I don't know. Probably not a lot. How many have I played? I don't know. Probably only played 30, right? And clearly in 30, a sample of 30, you're going to have loads and loads of variance, right? I mean, like right here, if you're playing a game where you know you have a small edge, 16 times out of 20 in this random sample, you're down, right? And that's something you have to be okay with and something you have to accept. A lot of people don't like that idea, and they think that if I have an edge, I'm going to show up and I'm going to win. I have a bunch of friends in Florida right now playing at the Hard Rock, which is, a great place to go play some cards. Wish I was there. But a lot of those people go there with very big hopes of, all right, I'm going to play great. The players there are not very good. I'm going to crush my opponents. And maybe they do. But you got to realize you're only playing like 5 games, right? When you play 5 games, pretty much anything can happen. You won your poker league for the second time. Congrats, Joe. Good job, good work. You won 6 out of 11 tournaments. Congrats. They don't know the power of Jay Little. Well, they don't know the power of Joe B, apparently. Will I be at the Rio November 4th for the main event? Probably. Jim, new poker coaching student. Hello, hello. Thanks for being here. What are you expecting with short deck? I'm not expecting much from short deck. I don't expect much from any new game, honestly, because it takes a lot for any new game to break in. It takes a lot for anything new to break in. I was talking to a poker coaching coach who's working on building up his YouTube channel. Check out Ryan O'Donnell's YouTube channel. And people who are very successful at something like poker, who can make, thousands of dollars per day, like, why am I even doing this? But you have to realize when you're starting anything, it's going to be slow going. And it may not even be all that quote-unquote successful, especially compared to other things you have going on. Like imagine you're a casino, and you can spread as many no-limit hold'em cash games as you want, but a few people ask for this Deuce of 7 game. Are you really going to hold a table open for the Deuce of 7 game, or the short deck game, or the PLO game, hoping that game fills, when if it fills, it just makes the same amount as a no-limit hold'em game anyway? It's like, do they really want to take the risk of just having an open table all day? Because that probably costs them, let's say they rake, I don't know how many dollars per hour they rake at a table. Let's say they rake $200 per hour per table. That costs them, what, $2,000 per day to keep that table open? For people who want to play that game? It's pretty costly. Michael Clifford up $15,000 at 1-3 over 128 hours this month. Good job, good work. You're grinding it out, man. It's good to get in there and grind it out. You might as well move up, honestly. If you're crushing 1-3 that hard, you might as well move up if you have the opportunity. Maybe you're running hot, maybe not. But if you game select, you play in ideal times, you will have very, very big win rates. What stake was this? This was $3,500 buy-in WPTs we were just looking at. But you can assert it for any buy-in level. Does your strategy differ between regular and turbo tournaments? Not really. You're always chasing your tell in turbo tournaments. So you just got to realize you're playing shallow or stacked, right? If you're playing shallow or stacked poker, you should obviously not play the same as if you're playing 100 big blinds deep. But you got to realize if average stack is 12 big blinds, and you have 12 big blinds, it may feel like not a lot of chips, but nobody has any chips, right? That's just how it goes. To be fair, if you look at a lot of the highest stakes tournaments, unless they have incredibly slow structures, everybody gets shallow eventually in pretty much every tournament. And that's because good players just don't go broke for large amounts of chips all that often. They do sometimes, of course, but not all that often. You're working security at the moment, struggling to save, and things aren't going the way you thought they would in life. First things first, why? Why are they not going the way you want them to go? / thought they would go. I mean, to be fair, what does everyone think? I think most people either think life is going to go just like amazingly well and they're going to crush it, or they are kind of negative and think things are going to go poorly. But you have to ask, like, what am I expecting and what am I doing to get the things that I expect, the things that I want, right? There's a book called Atomic Habits. Check out Atomic Habits if you have not. It talks about developing lots of small habits that will result in you getting the things that you want. But if you're not doing the things to get the things that you want, then you're not going to get the things that you want, right? Fortunately, we live in an age where you can do a ton on the internet. Like a ton. There's a guy, Pat Flynn, who has a podcast called the Smart Passive Income Podcast. And he has a security guard training site. Doesn't know anything about being a security guard. He's not a security guard. But he has a security guard training site that like basically lists all of the requirements to be a security guard. And he made a website out of this that makes thousands of dollars per year. And he found a spot where this was something that was searched a lot, but nobody was really providing good information about it. So he, did his diligence, studied as much as he could, made a good website, and now makes decent money off this website relatively passively. I mean, he has to update his regulations every once in a while, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like he has this knowledge, even though he's not even a security guard, about being a security guard, and now he's making money. And everybody out there, unless you're like very young, you usually have some knowledge about something. Most people find something they are very, very knowledgeable about, and then you can share your knowledge with other people who want to learn about that thing. Like me with poker, right? I spent many years playing poker, not with the idea of I'm going to try to make a training site, but that's eventually where we found ourselves, right? And that's how it goes sometimes. But anyway, you need to figure out where you're wanting to go and make sure you're not squandering your time. So many people squander their time by watching Netflix and trying to chill with anybody who will chill with them. And that results in a lot of people not getting anywhere because they're spending their time on things that just don't matter all that much. Maybe they matter, maybe they don't. You have to figure out what your priorities are, right? You have to figure out your priorities, what it amounts to. Do you have a warm down or cool up before you grind? I actually have the worst possible setup currently for when I grind. Sundays, one day I play poker online. I wake up at 6 a.m. with my kids. I play with my kids until 1. Seriously, I wake up with the kids at 6 a.m. We hang out in the morning. We have breakfast. We usually go out. We'll go to Central Park or something like this, or walk around the town or do whatever. Come back home, have lunch. I put the kids to sleep. I take a quick shower, and I immediately play poker. I have no warm-up. It's the exact opposite of what I recommend for most people. That said, this is going to sound cocky, but I'm a legitimate professional here. I can say, if I had to play a $100,000 buy-in tournament right this second, I could, and I would be fine. I wouldn't be playing a 100% perfect A game, but I would be fine, right? And I recognize I'm going to sacrifice being in the fully perfect mindset or whatever in exchange for hanging out with my family, and I'm cool with that. That said, whenever I travel to play big tournaments, I will sleep pretty late. I'll get up, I'll try to put in a light workout. I'll eat healthy. In terms of cool down, I don't really have much of a cool down. I'm pretty fine with just going to bed. Justin, new member, welcome. Glad that you're here and learning to improve your skills. Which is better, paying for time, $12 per hour versus a rate game at a casino? Depends on the stakes, right? There are a lot of math problems like that, Justin, where I ask, how much do they rake normally? If you're getting raked normally $8 per hour, then you'd rather pay $8, right? You started $5 no limit, you're down to $50 in just 10,000 hands. Is this normal? 2 cent, 5 cent, they may be raking you a lot. You need to see how much money you've paid in rake. There's a good chance you've paid $100 in rake. That said, you got to realize you just started playing poker, right? And if you're relatively new to the game, you are going to be playing against people who are not new to the game, and they're going to have a decent skill edge over you, even at the small stakes game. So if they're raking you a lot, and you're playing against players who are a lot better than you, is it normal to lose? Yeah, under those parameters, yeah, it is normal to lose. In the UK, there's significant risk of gambling legislation. If it kills the game here, which countries are good to move to? Not America. I honestly don't know the answer to this. Regulations change all the time. There's a website called Poker Refugees. Check it out. It's ran by someone, Kristen Wilson. She helps poker players relocate to various places. Like I know a lot of people go to Costa Rica, to Canada, at least when they're from America. So check out Poker Refugees. If you are an American and want to play online, if you are having to leave wherever you are, she'll get you set up. Which book is best for learning? Probably the encyclopedia, I guess. Oh, which of my books is best for learning? Haha, I was making a joke. Could you all tell that? Check out Mastering Small Stakes No Limit Hold'em at jonathanlittlepoker.com/mastering. Would you say 600 live poker hours? Do you think my hourly rate is pretty accurate? After 600 hours? 600 hours is what? That's probably reasonably accurate, assuming you're talking about cash games. Do I have plans for more Spin and Go content? Yes. Also, Rockefeller, if you like Ryan O'Donnell's content, he has a YouTube channel. Follow him on Twitter. What's his Twitter? Let me look it up real quick. Twitter.com/ I think it's three-handed poker. Yeah, twitter.com/ number 3-handed poker. Here, I'll post it in the chat here. He has a YouTube channel. It's right here in his link. He is making YouTube content very regularly, going through Spin and Go stuff. So make sure you check that out. World-class Spin and Go player. Does Thomas like the zoo? He does. What are my thoughts on Ben CB as a poker player? I've not played a ton with Ben CB as a poker player, but he seems to play well. Let's see. Did you know a joke becomes a dad joke when it becomes a parent? I don't know. Is that some kind of joke? Do my kids play poker? Not really. The kids are not to the age where they can do like actual strategy games yet. Maybe they are a little bit. It's actually interesting. I see my little kid, like he seems to be very engineer minded. Like he'll try to take stuff apart, try to break stuff, try to put it together, get annoyed when he can't put it back together, etc., etc. But anyway, I should probably sit down and play more games with him. We're trying to teach James chess at the moment, but it's hard. I mean, he's getting it figured out, right? Kid's 4 years old. What do you want from him? Let's see. How do I go from a total beginner to winning / great player? I studied a lot. What did I study? I studied books back in the day, old books to study Limit Hold'em, and then I got into Sit and Goes, and I studied using a program. It's obsolete now. I'm not even going to mention it. Hold'em Manager can do it. ICMizer can do it. Way better. And I basically studied the game a lot. I studied a ton. It turns out if you don't know what you're doing, and you study a ton, and you're playing against people who also don't know what they're doing, and they don't study, you're going to crush them. The problem you're going to have today is that most people at the highest stakes are studying a ton. In any field where there's a ton of money at risk, like high-stakes poker, people are going to be devoting their lives to it. A lot of people don't necessarily want to devote their life to it. They want to devote 3 hours a day to it. And you got to ask, is this what I actually want? But I think most people, if you study even some, you can win $30 an hour, $50 an hour playing live poker for sure. But to win, many thousands of dollars from the comfort of your home online, you're going to have to be like a world-class poker player is what it amounts to. So how did I get good? I studied and I played a ton. All you got to do to win, find a game you can beat, play it a lot, and keep a proper bankroll. 3 things, that's it. What's standard deviation for 6-max cash games? I don't know. Google it. You made day 2 of the $100 scoop tournament. Good job. Good luck. You have 160K. Good job. Or good luck. Lame. Hope you win all the money. How you say this name? Liam? Liam, I'm so bad at names. I'm the worst at names. I apologize, everyone. What's better, 9/10 of the time to be in the money or 1/10 to be at the final table? Depends on how much the final table pays, right? All these are math questions. Costa Rica if you're broke, Canada if you're ballin'. It could be true. Could be true. What should you look for in choosing a table online? You ideally want bad players. You need to go through and you need to tag your opponents. Take notes on your opponents, right? And let's say you have a fish tag or like maniac tag or nit tag, whatever. Say you have tags for these players that means they're especially bad. You want to open up the table and see, all right, 4 out of the 6 people at this table are bad. Let's play this table. If you go to another table and 4 out of the 6 players are really good, you'd probably rather not be at that table, right? So you need to pay attention to your opponents and take good notes. What's changing with UK gambling laws? I have no clue. I have no clue. PP for life, he may not be accepting private students at the moment. If they're not listed on our coaching page, it means they are not taking new students. Does it ever make sense to sit out? Not in a tournament, no. Do not sit out in a tournament. You'd rather play your aces than not play your aces. Jesse, you don't have any questions, but you just want to say thank you. Well, thank you all. If you enjoyed this show, do me a quick favor. Click like, click subscribe below. I appreciate it. One of the biggest issues transitioning from online to live. Your opponents live are going to be way worse than they are live. Your opponents live are going to be way worse than they are online, typically. Also, you're going to be playing a much slower game, which allows you to pay attention to additional things like live reads and whatnot. I think I have a video somewhere on pokercoaching.com transitioning from online to live and also the other direction, I think. I know I made a video for the Poker Backing Company a while back on transitioning from online to live. It's probably something on Poker Coaching about that too. At 1-2, you feel like you over tip. How much should you be tipping? You're allowed to tip nothing, all right? Should the pot be a minimum before you tip? So look, you have to understand. You have to ask what you're trying to accomplish here. And look, I drastically overtip in everything I do. Why? Because, I don't know, probably have a mental problem and I want people to like me. Why do we wake up and do this show for you all? I want you all to like me. But at the end of the day, let's say, we're just going to give some cold hard math here, right? Let's say you make $30 per hour playing 1-3 no limit, okay? Or you're playing 1-2. Let's say you make $20 an hour. Fine. Let's say you win, 4 hands per hour, and you tip $1 per hand. Not a lot. You're tipping $4 out of your $20 win rate. It's 20% of your money you're giving away. 20%. That's a lot. Could you imagine giving away 20% of your income? And you may say, the dealers need it. Look, I'm not thinking about the dealers right now. I'm having to be purely selfish because I'm talking to someone playing 1-2 no limit who is doing their best to move up in the game. I mean, like in reality, you probably should not be tipping much of anything, which sounds harsh, sounds rude, sounds aggressive. But if you think about it, if you're struggling to make ends meet, let's say you win $5 per hour and you tip $5 to the dealers, you made $0. So you're sitting there passing time. You're never going to move up, right? So you have to ask, do you care more about building your bankroll / paying your bills / whatever you're going to do with the money, or do you care more about tipping the dealers? And we live in this society where there are social norms such that employers, for some reason, I don't get this, feel like they don't have to pay their employees well. I don't get it. I try to drastically overpay all my employees, and I hope you all are out there not tipping them. They do not need to be tipped. They get paid well. You don't got to tip me. Don't feel inclined. But dealers, for whatever reason, are not paid a fair salary by their employers. Why? I don't know. I don't get it. I would hope that the casinos value their employees enough to pay them adequately such that they can make a reasonable living and not force them to hope for a handout from poker players who are, most of them, losing anyway, right? So anyway, how much should you tip? How much do you like money? Comments on this one are going to be fun, I'm sure, when I scroll down. How does one adjust when you are card dead? Ace-Jack suited looks like pocket aces. Ace-Jack suited is like pocket aces. Basically, just play slightly looser, but don't be insane. Just play normal. Should you ever be rat-holing to protect your winnings? Only if you're bad at deep stack poker. To be fair, you want the players on your left to have no chips and the players on your right to have a lot of chips. So let's say you're playing $200 buy-in game and you get up to like $800 and 2 players on your left are both good and they both have $800 and these players on your right are playing like $100 deep. That's a really bad spot for you to have $800. So in theory, if it's allowed to rat hole in your game, which means take money off the table, you should. But in most cash games, they don't want you to take money off the table, and you should probably not break the rules. Turns out if you break the rules, you may get punished. Yeah, my Magic the Gathering cards have gone up a lot in value. Yeah. I'm actually thinking about trying to get rid of some. Funny enough, the other day, this guy randomly posted on a Facebook group that he's looking for an alpha. Alpha? Is that how you say the word? Alpha? That sounds wrong. Alpha, you know. He's looking for a first edition Goblin King. And I just happen to have a random first edition Goblin King sitting in a box back here. And he paid me $1,500 for the first edition Goblin King. How lucky is that? And I actually got that as part of a grab bag a while back. I bought these Power 9 grab bags a while back, and that was like a throw-in. So I bought the grab bag for like $2,000 back in the day. You get a piece of power and then some throw-ins. And The Goblin King was a throw-in. So I basically like traded the throw-in, still kept the Mock Sapphire or whatever I got out of it. So fun time. How many tables do you play online? Depends on which site. If I can use a heads-up display, I'll play like infinite, 24, something like that. If I cannot use a heads-up display, I try to cap it at something like 10. You're looking to study poker, but do not want to purchase an expensive course. Does your website provide tournament content that is worthy? Check out pokercoaching.com/fundamentals. That is free. Okay. Also, I recommend you go to pokercoaching.com/premium. Sign up for the tournament masterclass. Well, you sign up for Poker Coaching Premium and go through the tournament masterclass. It's about 50 hours long, very in-depth, very thorough, and it will teach you to play poker well. There's lots of quizzes. It's very interactive. Study it for a month and then cancel. You get it for $100 out the door. There you go. How much should you study before playing with real money? Depends on how much you care about money. Ideally, though, you start playing very, very tiny. Your son is in love with Battlegrounds. Oh, James loves coming in here and watching me play Magic. Oh my God, Magic Arena. They made a iPhone app, so now I'm doomed. I told myself I'd never play Magic Arena until they make an iPhone app. And then they made an iPhone app. Before you could only play it on your computer. I'm not going to sit here and play Magic on my computer all day. But you only play in 15 minutes on my phone. Oh my gosh, I'm doomed. I already made, Legend or something? It's not Legend. What do they call it on Magic Arena? I was in the top 1,200 of Limited the other day, but then I lost 3 games. Now I'm like 1,400, so tilting. Let's see. What's a good in-the-money percentage? In-the-money percentage doesn't actually matter all that much. If you look at a lot of the biggest winners, they're somewhere between like 13% and 17%. You don't want to have an in-the-money percentage that's like really high, like 25%, because then you usually get in the money in exchange for winning the tournament all that often. There's a guy, Nicholas Lena, online, Lena, and one of the biggest winners, and his in-the-money percentage is like 12%, when 15% of the field gets in the money. You were so sad you got 19th. Yeah, it's tough. You need a new book. Well, I have a new book coming out soon. My first tournament book, a long time ago, was still quite applicable today. I went back, I rewrote it, I explained a ton. We're going to make one big 450-page book, Secrets of Professional Tournament Poker. It is already off to the printer. It'll be out soon. Is Brain Fuel worth it or just overpriced caffeine? I think it's worth it. I love it. I'll tell you what I do. I used to drink coffee like every 2 hours. Basically, my body was a coffee filter. And instead of being a coffee filter, now I have a cup of coffee as soon as I wake up. Then I have my Brain Fuel, 9 a.m. Then that's all I need for the rest of the day. It's very efficient. If you care about efficiency, I think it's for you. Also has lots of other stuff. Vitamins, minerals, protein, MCTs, vitamin C, etc., etc. Never seen me without a clean shave. You must not see me Monday mornings after long poker sessions. When's the net sale for poker coaching? I don't know. Johnny's playing a tournament with 360 people, winner take all for 105K. Oh, that's going to be a fun cash game type thing. Good luck, have fun. How much live cash did I play before COVID? I actually didn't play a ton of cash before COVID because ever since tournaments had re-entries, you're just like never out of poker tournaments is what it amounts to. And whenever I travel to play, I'm usually traveling to play the soft, high buy-in poker tournaments, right? So I'm not necessarily going to sit and play cash games all night. I'm going to play games that I think are going to provide a very good win rate. Typically, you'll find that when you buy in for $10,000 in a poker tournament, it's a million times softer than when you buy in for $10,000 in a cash game, or even $5,000 or $2,000 in a cash game. So typically, you can invest way more money in tournaments than you can in cash games that are substantially softer. So I would focus on the tournaments. And also, because you can re-enter the tournaments, I didn't really have a ton of free time because you're always in the tournament until 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., right? And I'm not going to play until 10 p.m. and then play a cash game for 6 hours and then sleep for 4 hours and wake up and do it again. I'm going to focus on sleep. So not a ton, actually. But before they had re-entries, I used to play a lot of cash games. I would buy in for the tournament at noon. And if I busted before, 8 p.m. or so, I'd go play cash games till about midnight. All right. Be the shark. That's right, Tyler. Is it normal that you're good at tournaments but not at live? I guess you mean online? I don't know. There's lots of variance. Government here in Canada takes away 50% of your income. Giving only away 20% sounds like a dream. Oh, Grimly, you got to give away 20% to the dealers and then 50% to the government. Both. What's the optimal strategy for add-ons? I don't know the answer to this. Typically whenever you add on, they give you a value in terms of chips. Let's say you buy them for, at the start of the tournament, you get 2,000 chips, then you add on, you get 3,000. It's almost always worth it to get it unless you just have loads and loads of chips. If you pay income tax, you give away more than 20%. Yeah. Listen, everyone. If you play poker and you win money at poker, in theory, you're supposed to pay your taxes. You should pay your taxes. You should not break the rules of the government where you live. Okay? So, you give 20% to the dealers. Then, you give 40% or whatever it is to the government. Think of it as additional tax. If you don't mind additional tax, then there you go. So you got this angle, you shoot live. All in on 2 pair and a flush board. The angle is you don't say anything and shove all but your biggest chip. Sean, don't angle shoot people. I don't even know what this means. I don't even know what you're asking. Don't shoot angles. You don't want to do anything to make yourself seem shady because that's going to make people not like you. And you generally want people to like you because when people like you, all the doors in life will open. And if people don't like you, all the doors in life will close. We've seen this from some content creators. Some content creators are out here talking very poorly about a lot of people. And inevitably, all their doors close and then they leave the poker community. Sometimes, though, people are nice. They're not even like well-known poker players. They're nice, they're productive, they add value, and all of their doors open, right? Turns out if you're a good person and you add value, you get good things in life. If you're a bad person and you piss people off, all the doors are going to shut for you. And you'd rather all the doors be open than shut. How much does your table image matter against straightforward players? Probably not a lot. Am I playing the World Series this year? Yes. Michael says, you think a reasonable minimum tip of $1 in big pots and $2 to $3 and an all-in hand? Yeah, I mean, again, Michael, it depends all entirely on what you're trying to accomplish, right? Like if you know your pure goal is to build your bankroll as fast as possible, and you don't care about anything else in life, you should probably live in a relatively cheap apartment. You should eat relatively cheap food. You should, not spend much money. You should play poker all the time. You should not tip a whole lot, right? You understand, like you should do everything you can to keep money in your bankroll. But that's not most people's goal in life, right? Most people want to help out the dealers who are doing their job. They want to go have nice dinners every once in a while. They want to be able to buy new Magic the Gathering cards. Who knows what they want to do, right? And that just means your only goal is not to build your bankroll. So you always have to ask, what am I actually trying to accomplish? And if you are actually trying to accomplish build your bankroll as fast as possible, then don't give away your bankroll, right? That said, probably not ideal. I know the word alpha is correct. It just sounds weird coming out of my mouth. Do you ever play Magic Arena online? Yes. We have already made whatever the good rank is in Limited. To be fair, it was mostly at Kaladesh? That format was super easy. Just draft red and white. Draft white with red or white with green, and you just win every time. LEDs have 8x'd in price. Oh, yes. I have these LEDs that are signed, but I don't really like the signature on them. Let's see if I can find them. Where is it? Just the LED pile? Here they are. Look at that. Went right to them. We have these LEDs here, but they are, I don't really like the signature. Let's see. Come on, focus for me. It really doesn't like focusing on like sideways cards. Maybe you can do like this. It's not going to work, is it? It's not a very pretty signature. I have this light. I think the light's screwing it up. Let's see. We'll give it one more second. If it doesn't work, we'll give up. Anyway, it's a little bit too thick. The signature's a little bit too thick. Maybe it doesn't like the sleeve. Nope, just not going to give it to me, Aria Camera. Can you imagine all the people here who came here for poker now we're looking at signed Magic cards? It's not working. Anyway, I hear you. Lions Eye Diamonds, whee! More expensive than real diamonds. More expensive than real diamonds. Any post-flop software out there? There's lots of post-flop software out there. What do we have? We have Volcanic Island and is it one of the Circle of Protections? Does that sound right? Maybe it's not a Circle of Protection. Volcanic Island for sure. Mythic, that's what it's called, Mythic. How do you play satellites well? There's a new book by Bernard Lee on satellites. Came out from D&B Poker just the other day. Do I have it back here? Somewhere around here. Check out that book, dnbpoker.com. Did you contemplate going to Florida? I did, but I was not vaccinated yet. I get my second vaccine Wednesday, actually. Yeah, the word alpha just sounds weird. Why didn't you play the latest WPT? Because I did not have my vaccine yet. All your friends are telling you how the internal staples are skyrocketing, but no one's selling them. Yeah, that's it. No one's selling them. Do we ever do signed book giveaways? Yes, sometimes, every once in a while. If you'd like to try out pokercoaching.com, try it out. If you don't like it, you can cancel. We're not like the other training sites. They're going to charge you a bunch of money for almost no content and then not give you a refund if you don't like it. If you do not like my work, I do not want or deserve your money, okay? So, we offer 100% money back guarantee for 30 days. What's the maximum minus? I have no clue what you're asking me, Bogus. You found my tournament ranges PDF online. Are the ranges GTO? I have two different sets of ranges out there. I'm not sure which one you're looking at. One are the implementable GTO ranges. Then we also have the adjusted ranges for soft games. Two different sets of ranges for two different styles of play you're going to be playing against. Also, we have our straight up GTO app. Go to search Poker Coaching on the various app stores. It'll come right up. And those are perfect GTO ranges. Have I tried Bang energy drinks? I typically shy away from energy drinks. Like anything that calls itself an energy drink, I typically do not try. I'm telling you, I really just drink like green tea and coffee for the most part, plus brain fuel now. Do you find that online players to be better than live players? Definitely. Definitely. How tight should you be with the middle stack on the bubble? Depends on the scenario, right? Any good tips from switching to home games to casino games? The casino game is going to be way tougher than home games for the most part. So you're going to have to play better poker. That said, small stakes games are still going to be relatively soft. I see all of you typed in loads and loads of questions. We're not going to be able to answer all these because I have to go. Sorry about that. I want to thank all of you for asking all the questions. You just saw me on Poker Go with ace-2 offsuit. If you get an ace, what can you do? Are we making a new cash game masterclass? We are. We almost have all the simulations run. It's going to take us another week or so to get all the simulations run. I'm going to record it, and then we'll be there. It's probably going to end up being about 30 or 40 hours long as well, just like the tournament course. If you like the tournament course, then you will, then you'll like it. This is not an angle shooting podcast. No, this is not an angle shooting podcast. Go to the other people's channels for that kind of thing. If you want strategy to make people not like you, go to other channels, please. That's so mean. Why are you so mean, Jonathan? Do I have any doggy coins? I have no doggy coins at the moment. At some point, you should just buy some doggy coins, though, right? Oh, goodness. Let's see. Did you play poker with some members of the Survivor cast? Are they cast members? I think they were players. But yes, I did get to play with Boston Rob, Tyson, what's his last name? You all know Tyson. And a few other people. It was a lot of fun on Poker Night in America. That was so random, so fun. It was kind of unfortunate. I was the only person who won. So after we went to dinner, and I paid for everybody's dinner. To be fair, they had all won Survivor, so maybe they should have paid for my dinner. It was me and a bunch of winners. But yeah, you can actually find that at somewhere on YouTube. YouTube Survivor Poker Night in America. It'll probably come right back up. You own all of my books. That's a lot. When's my next book coming out? Probably June or July. Yes, adjusted ranges are in the tools section. Can we create homework more than once a month? Maybe. You don't need a vaccine. To be fair, vaccine's not for me. It's for my wife's grandparents. Or for my wife's parents. We hang out with my wife's parents a decent amount. I can't be getting COVID and bringing it back to older people around me. It's not all about you. It's not all about me. How much did I spend on poker before becoming profitable? About $300. I bought a bunch of poker books that were on the market, read them all, studied them all. That said, I struggled at tournaments for a long time when I first started getting into tournaments, multi-table tournaments, because I was used to playing a very different game. When should you start getting private one-on-one coaching? ASAP? To be fair, I think people learn in various different ways, right? Like some people need one-on-one coaching. Like people who go to the gym. Some people need a personal trainer to feel like motivation and responsibility. Other people do not, right? Like I personally do not, but I still go out and hire a coach every time I'm going to learn something new because I don't want to waste my time doing something incorrectly for a long period of time. Let you rephrase the question. What is the maximum buy-ins? Bogus. I have literally no clue what you're asking. Send an email, support@pokercoaching.com. How do you combat 3-betting? Raise with more reasonable ranges, 4-bet, bluff some. Check out the GTO charts, pokercoaching.com, in the tools section. That will solve all of your issues dealing with 4-bets and 3-bets and 5-bets and all of that. All of that is listed at pokercoaching.com in the tools section. Let me actually show you all real quick if my computer will work. Let's see. Will this function properly? I hope so. It's not set up for this, so it may not look right. Go to Tools. Go to GTO. I don't know. You're playing cash games or tournaments. GTO cash game preflop charts. So big. Okay. And then, here you go. You just enter the information. Let's say we have 100 big blind stacks. Let's say we're in the hijack seat versus a 3-bet. The opponent 3-bet from, let's say, the button. Here's what we do. Here's our range. 4-bet the hands in red. The best hands plus a few bluffs. Call the hands in green. Fold everything else. There you go. Right there at pokercoaching.com in the tool section. And this is available on your phone as well, so you have no excuse. All right, I have to get going. Thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate it. Again, if you enjoyed this show, click like, click subscribe. I appreciate all the sharks being here with me in the mornings. The early shark gets the worm or the bait or the fish. Try to avoid the hook. You do not want to get caught. Have a great day. Good luck with everything and enjoy your week.